everybody got to see the great Terence Crawford do something that was unheard of and unthinkable. And it would be stamped in the history books forever. He'd probably be thicker, but I'm taller. You know, he have his strong points in the fight. I have mine. So that's why you fight the fight. How Terence going to do going up 2 more weight classes into new territory to dethrone the undisputed champion.
Terence Crawford has just revealed his strategic game plan ahead of his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez in September. However, Terence Crawford also said he doesn't feel anything yet because the fight hasn't happened, but he believes it will be exciting when the time comes. He thinks a matchup between him and Canelo Alvarez would be the best fight in boxing right now, with 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers going head-to-head. Crawford said fans are eager to see how he performs as he moves up 2 weight classes to challenge the undisputed champion in new territory.
I don't feel anything at the moment because nothing is there yet. But when the time comes, it's going to be exciting. I think me and Canelo will make for a great fight. I think it's the best fight in boxing right now. And you got 2 first ballot Hall of Famers going head to head with each other. And everybody want to see how Terence going to do going up 2 more weight classes into new territory to dethrone the undisputed champion.
Moreover, Kermel Mouton said that moving up to 168 pounds is a big jump for Terence Crawford, and he's not sure how it will go. He thinks the fight could be similar to Crawford's bout with Spence, but with Crawford throwing more punches, moving around more, and boxing on his toes. If Crawford can do that, he might be able to outbox Canelo and win a close decision. Mouton pointed out that Canelo has had trouble with fighters who move well. Still, he also sees a chance that Canelo could walk Crawford down, especially if Crawford can't handle the weight and power at 168. In the end, he said both are great fighters, and he's just excited to watch the fight.
68, that's a big jump for Crawford, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like it could go similar to the fight, how it just went with Skull, but with Crawford throwing a little bit more punches and then, you know, getting on his toes, boxing, and then he letting his hands go more. So he might be able to edge a decision out against Canelo, outbox him. So I feel like Canelo struggle with fighters that are good on their feet. And or there's a possibility that Canelo, you know, walks him down and Crawford doesn't really adapt to the weight and the power up at 68. So I guess we'll just see how it goes. But I know both of them are real great fighters, and I'm just excited to watch it.
However, Terence Crawford brushed off the doubts from fans who think he's too small to face Canelo Alvarez, saying many people are just repeating what they hear from others. He pointed out that a lot of fans don't think for themselves and instead follow group opinions they see online. Crawford said Canelo is often the smallest fighter in his own division at 168 pounds.
I just think a lot of people is adopting other people's thoughts.
Okay, the group think.
Yeah,
okay.
You know, a lot of people not thinking for themselves. They just,
you can say that about a lot in today's day and age. You know, what I mean?
They hear something on social media and then they just run with it.
Like, nah, man, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I've been known. Canelo's the bigger guy. I've seen Canelo in person.
Yeah.
Even for him, 168 is a big weight class.
Facts. And he's always the smallest person in his division.
Crawford used the example of Alexander Usyk beating Tyson Fury to show that size isn't everything in boxing. Despite Fury being the much bigger man, Usyk came out on top. He added that people might assume Canelo is the bigger fighter, but he's not so sure as Canelo may be thicker, but Crawford is taller. He said both fighters have their strengths, and that's exactly why the fight needs to happen, to see who really comes out on top.
When you got Usyk fighting Tyson Fury, you know, Tyson Fury was the massive fighter over Usyk, and you know, the bigger guy didn't win neither fight. So I just think in this case, a lot of people is just going off of other people's opinion. Oh, well.
I'm not even so sure Canelo will be the bigger guy.
He'd probably be thicker, but I'm taller. You know, he have his strong points in the fight. I have mine. So that's why you fight the fight.
But Rolly Romero still thinks weight will be a big factor in their fight. He said anyone who thinks Terence Crawford has a chance against Canelo Alvarez is a complete idiot. He argued that weight classes exist for a reason and that Canelo is simply too big and too skilled. According to Romero, this isn't a matchup about skill as it's all about size. And in his view, Crawford doesn't stand a chance because of it.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And it's not, this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
However, Terence Crawford concluded that beating Canelo Alvarez would mean everything to him, as it would represent the hard work he's put in throughout his entire career coming together in one historic moment. He said that night would show the world his greatness by doing something many thought was impossible, and it would be forever stamped in the history books.
Man, it'll mean everything. You know, it'll be everything that I worked hard for in my whole career coming out in that one moment, you know, that one night of boxing that everybody got to see the great Terence Crawford do something that was unheard of and unthinkable. And it would be stamped in the history books forever.
For sure.
So that's what I think about it.
Moreover, Teofimo Lopez said that first and foremost, he supports the fans because they want to see the best fight the best. Even if Terence Crawford has to move up 3 weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez, the king and face of boxing, he thinks it would still be a great fight. However, Lopez said he's picking his stablemate Canelo to win. As for how it ends, he believes it could be a late knockout, but if not, it might even finish in 6 rounds.
To be honest, first and foremost, you know, I favor the fans. We want to see a great fight. We want to see the best fight the best. Even if the Crawford got to go up 3 weight classes to face the best and the king in the face of boxing of Canelo Alvarez. But I'm still going to go with my stablemate, Canelo Alvarez, with the win. Now, what decision? I think it's a late knockout. If not, it might end in 6.
As for the future, Terence Crawford said he takes things one step at a time and doesn't overthink anything. First, he wants to see what happens this Saturday, and if all goes well, he'll move on to the next situation. He added that, God willing, if he comes out successful, then he'll look ahead. But for now, he's focused on the present and not rushing into anything.
We don't overthink anything, so first thing first is to see what happens this Saturday, and then we go into that situation.
Okay.
And God willing, we come out successful, and then we move to the next situation.
Okay.
But we don't overstep anything.
On the other end, Danny Garcia believes Canelo Alvarez is practically untouchable at 168 pounds. He says this weight class fits Canelo perfectly, and points out that Canelo has already taken out everyone who matters in the division. Garcia sees Canelo as having a clear edge in both size and physical power. If a fight with Terence Crawford were to happen right now at that weight, Garcia would still favor Canelo despite Crawford's skill set. In his opinion, the only person who might have what it takes to seriously challenge Canelo at 168 is David Benavidez. Aside from Benavidez, Garcia doesn't think anyone else can pull it off.
At 168, I just can't see nobody beating Canelo at that weight. That's his weight. You know, he beat everybody at the weight. Like, that's his weight. Like, that's perfect weight for Canelo. So, Canelo faced probably better competition. He's gonna be the bigger guy, stronger. So, if they fought each other right now at 168. You know, Crawford got the skills, but I'll probably go with Canelo, cause I really can't see. Oh, besides Benavidez, that's probably the only guy that could probably beat Canelo on 168. But I can't see nobody else beating Canelo on 168. That's his weight.
Oscar De La Hoya doesn't think Terence Crawford could beat Canelo Alvarez. He points to Canelo's punching power and natural size advantage as the deciding factors. While Crawford might try to set traps and use his technique, De La Hoya feels the weight difference would be a major issue. He even suggests Canelo could rehydrate and enter the ring close to 200 pounds, making him even harder to deal with. Although he acknowledges how skilled Crawford is, De La Hoya says that if Crawford somehow manages to win, it would be such a massive accomplishment that people would see him as a legendary figure in the sport.
But I just don't see it as a fighter. I just don't see it. I mean, Canelo is a big puncher. You know, yeah, he walks on quicksand, and that's one thing that Crawford can use against him. But you know, the pressure of the heavier guy. Canelo will be 200 pounds up in that ring, you know. So it's a tough fight. But look, I give all the credit to Crawford. If he pulls that one off, Jesus, he'll be the messiah of boxing, of fighters, you know.
Tim Bradley has some serious reservations about anyone trying to take on Canelo at super middleweight. He points out that Canelo is incredibly tough, doesn't back down, and is fully adjusted to the weight class after years of competing there. Bradley stresses that this experience and physical strength give Canelo a big edge. He warns that trying to go toe-to-toe with Canelo is extremely risky, especially given how seasoned and powerful he is at 168 pounds.
A little bit of me moving forward. That's what scares me about the Canelo fight, to be honest with you. Because
he ain't gonna back down. He ain't gonna back down.
No,
not. He ain't
he's not gonna back down. And he's tough. And that's what scares me about that fight, because you don't need to be training with that bull. Like, I know you're strong. But that dude is naturally strong, and he's been at this weight class for a very long time. So he's acclimated. You don't need to be trading with this guy at all, regardless of how the fight is going.
Sebastian Fundora expressed his support for Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing how comfortable Canelo is at 168 pounds, a weight where he has already captured the undisputed title. While Fundora acknowledged Terence Crawford's exceptional skills and his potential ability to make 168 pounds naturally, he pointed out the significant difference between 147 pounds and 168 pounds. He believes that Canelo's experience in this weight class gives him a clear advantage if the two ever faced each other.
I have Canelo. Canelo's more comfortable at 168. He's going to fight again for undisputed for a second time at 168. So this is nothing uncomfortable to him. Terence Crawford's a great fighter, and of course we're starting to see that he can probably make 168 naturally. But again, it's a different division. 147, 168, two different divisions.
Sam Jones, a strong supporter of Terence Crawford, believes that Crawford will struggle against Canelo Alvarez due to a size disadvantage. While he admires Crawford's skill set, he thinks Canelo's sheer power and physical strength will be too much for Crawford to handle. Jones described Canelo as a formidable, muscular fighter who isn't particularly tall, but is built with incredible strength. He argued that Canelo's physical presence would be the key factor in the fight, making it almost impossible for Crawford to come out on top.
I prefer Crawford. Listen, I'm a big Terence Crawford fan, right? I think I love Terence Crawford, huge Crawford fan. I just think in this fight, he's just going to be too small in this fight. Like Canelo is massive. Like he's a unit. He's not tall in stature, but if you've been around Canelo, he's just a lump, isn't he? Canelo, he's a right lump, and I just think Canelo would be too big for him.
We haven't had a chance
to see Crawford win.
WWE superstar Big E called it an electrifying match that would captivate most boxing fans. He acknowledged Canelo's size advantage, but wondered whether Canelo's long career and tough battles might begin to take their toll. Despite this, Big E made it clear that he's firmly supporting Crawford. If he had to make a prediction, Big E sees Crawford winning by decision, although he doesn't believe Crawford would be able to stop Canelo before the final bell.
Oh man, can we get Bud and Canelo? Can we please get Bud Crawford and Canelo? I don't know if we're gonna see it, but man, I think that's what damn near all fight fans want to see.
Who do you have in that fight? Break it down.
I don't know, man. I can't root against Bud right now. You wonder if Canelo and the miles start to catch up, it's a great fight. Obviously, Canelo's the bigger man, but seeing Bud put some weight on, I won't root against Bud. Gun to my head, I'll go Bud Crawford.
Dang. So how do you see it going? Decision, knockout?
A decision. I don't think he'd finish Canelo, but I think we'd see a decision.
Eddie Hearn described a potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight as an exciting clash between two of the sport's most gifted talents. He acknowledged that moving up in weight to 168 pounds would be a tough challenge for Crawford, but suggested that Crawford's exceptional ring movement and boxing IQ might give him a chance. However, Hearn also pointed out that while 168 pounds is the official weight limit, Canelo could come into the ring on fight night weighing closer to 180 to 185 pounds, which would make it an even greater hurdle for Crawford to overcome.
I think it's a very intriguing fight, two generational greats. You know, I think it's very difficult for Bud moving up that high in weight, but if anyone can do it, it might be him. You know, his movement and his IQ is second to none, but it's different when you're facing Canelo Alvarez up there, you know, not just at 168, but on the night, probably 180, 185. You know, it's going to be a big task.
Kevin Cunningham is confident that Terence Crawford has the ability and intelligence to beat Canelo Alvarez, though he admits it will be a difficult task. While he recognizes Canelo as one of the greatest fighters in history, Cunningham believes that Crawford is a unique talent who can adapt and compete even when moving up in weight. Cunningham doesn't expect Crawford to dominate the fight, but he's convinced Crawford's boxing skills will allow him to exploit any weaknesses in Canelo's game and secure the victory.
But can Terence Crawford pull this off?
He definitely can. He has the ability to pull it off for sure. Now, it's going to be a tough task. You're talking about Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters ever. So I think Terence is special, you know, and it's going to take it takes a special fighter to move up multiple weight classes and still dominate. And I think Terence Crawford has the ability. Not to say he'll dominate Canelo Alvarez, but I think he's special enough to where he can find a way to expose Canelo's flaws and pull it off. I just think he's a special enough fighter, and he's gifted enough, and he's smart enough to win a boxing match with Canelo Alvarez.
Cunningham went on to explain that Crawford won't just rely on his technical boxing ability, but will also bring aggression to the fight in order to earn Canelo's respect. He expects Crawford to approach the fight with a smart combination of skill and physicality. Cunningham is confident that Crawford has everything necessary to win the fight and firmly believes Crawford can emerge victorious.
I think what you'll see with Terence is a boxer, but he's also going to try to beat up. He's going to get the respect of Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, he's going to box, but he's going to get his respect too, and he's going to be smart about it. You know, so I think he can. I really think Terence can pull this off.
Bob Arum stressed that the considerable difference in weight would be a key factor. While he acknowledged Canelo's elite skill set, Arum argued that Crawford overall possesses a more refined skill level. Despite the challenge of having to give up a significant amount of weight, Arum mentioned that if he were to bet on the fight, he would lean toward Crawford because of his exceptional boxing technique. However, he also noted that the size difference could ultimately have a significant impact on how the fight unfolds.
Or is it just 50-50? It's very, very hard because of the difference in weight. I would think that if I had to bet the fight, that I would bet Terence because Terence has more skills than Canelo. But he's given away a lot of weight, a lot of real weight. So that matters. But again, Terence is a tremendously skilled fighter. So is Canelo a very skilled fighter. But he doesn't have the same skill set as Terence does.
Jaron Boots Ennis pointed out the difficulties Terence Crawford could encounter in trying to add 14 pounds for a potential fight against Canelo. He noted that the extra weight could affect Crawford's speed and overall performance, making it hard to predict how well he would adjust until the actual fight takes place.
You said how difficult is it? Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little difficult because you gotta. What are you gonna have to put on like an extra 14 pounds? So he might be a little slower, or who knows? He could be faster. I don't know. Like it's just you gotta add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that, moving up in weight and things like that. So it's a little harder, but I don't know. You know, we'll see on fight night how he'll look.
Paul Kroll shared his thoughts, stating that while Crawford may be able to land a body shot on Canelo, he doesn't think Crawford could seriously hurt him. In Kroll's opinion, if Crawford were to win, it would likely come by decision rather than through a powerful, game-changing punch to Canelo.
Can he hurt Canelo Alvarez?
I don't think nobody hurt Canelo. They got a chin now. He could probably hurt him to the body, you know what I mean? But I don't think, realistically, I don't think he's gonna hurt him. I just think he wins if he do win, it's a decision.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their fight? Share your thoughts on this in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other recent videos on the screen right now.